From time to time, I will manage a client's editorial process or the publication, webmaster work, that kind of thing for a publisher or a thought leader. There's some very critical steps that you must take in order to have maximum value for every minute of audio, video, or content written. I'll share those steps with you here. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. I'm sharing these steps with you because you might be in the business of writing copy, but there's a value add element of actually managing, syndicating, or extending the value of the creation of that content. So for example, if you have a client that creates videos and your role is to edit the video, create the copy around the video such as show notes, create articles that might lead to the video, you can add extra value by then syndicating that video across many different platforms. Now, you're already going to have a webmaster. You're already going to have somebody doing some technical work for you. All you're simply doing is becoming a middleman and helping the client have a fractional value in that individual. Now, I'm not sure if that makes sense, but it's the agency model instead of the freelance model. You could freelance and try to find work, or you could have larger contracts and larger assignments and bring on the team that you need. So we've talked about in the past as a copywriter hiring editors or researchers to help you write larger sales letters and campaign kits. This is simply the same thing in a different channel for somebody like for everybody who's famous, there's like 1,000 people who are not famous. So if I say Alex Jones, there's a whole crew that Alex Jones built up over the years. But if you're looking at an Alex Jones, 7 years ago, there's probably 100 people like that today who provide, in his case, entertainment around conspiracies, entertainment around news, controversial topics. Now, another end of that is Joe Rogan, for example. Joe Rogan is kicking it out big right now, but in the beginning, it was just Joe Rogan and an editor. What you're doing as a service provider is you're helping the content creator create a unit of content and then making sure that the editorial process happens for that unit of content as it moves through a system and then gets out to promotion. So what I would do sometimes is we were managing the site as a webmaster, maintaining the WordPress site, making sure it's running, making sure it's all the latest updates. But every time someone would publish a piece of content, we would go back in and write the excerpts. We'd write the social media headlines. We'd write the excerpts for unique social media channels. We'd write the SEO related elements, the keywords, everything like that. So the person creating the content only need to focus on creating content. Now, I don't really believe in SEO as in writing content for search engines. We would write content so that the search engines had a clear understanding of the context of that content, extracting the key ideas also for social media. So if somebody wrote an article, we'd write 5 or 6 social media posts and get them out to affiliates, for example, get them out to the social media platforms of the client. Now, this is agency work, which means you'll have people other than copywriters on staff, but it's also part of that 80-20 optimization where you as a copywriter are going to be best served writing copy, and you as a copywriter or the owner of the company would be best served by leveraging lower paid individuals to keep the work moving smoothly. So an editorial process in the highest level is going to be an idea. That idea is going to go on a calendar. It's going to come off the calendar and become draft content. The draft content is going to be reviewed or edited. The final draft is going to go up before kind of an editoring or an internal thought group. So it could be something was written in a paid newsletter, and then later it is excerpted for the public side of the website. But essentially, you're focusing your talent on the hard piece. Then after the piece is written, it is a unit that goes through a cycle of context, making sure all the metadata is clean, all the context is clean, cross-references are relevant, fact-checking, things like that, referencing third-party credible sources. Then it goes over to kind of promotion, where once you've written a piece of content, you're not sitting around waiting for a search engine to find it. You might excerpt again to put it out on the email list. You might reach out to different people who talk about that topic regularly and raise it to them so that they can mention it to their audience. See, that whole ecosystem of the editorial process could be just one person. Maybe you're doing that for yourself on your entire website, but it also could be specialists along each of the steps. So you are creating content, you're contextualizing or putting content in the right format, and then finally you're promoting that content. Well, why not have that as a service? In fact, I've got a model that's based on what I've done for years, and the model essentially allows you to publish it on YouTube. And then now that there's BitChute and Parler and all these other platforms, you'd actually take that down, create a couple of different thumbnails, and then re-syndicate it for the customer. Now, this is something that as a copywriter, you may already be doing as part of your own marketing and sales. Why not add it as a value add? Now, you can get white label companies to do this for you. You can use a process plan like what I've got and actually add your own staff to it. You can also make the work modular. Like I was working with one guy, he would record a video podcast, send it to Fiverr. Fiverr would edit it and clean it up really rough. And then the video would then be sent to a transcriptionist. And sometimes it was the transcriptionist did the full item, and they would in parallel send the transcript away to be excerpted. But essentially what happened is that one unit of video, the video log, becomes a transcript. It becomes a video that's refined a little bit. It's got titles in it. And then it goes all back together to be syndicated and put out on the network. You might not be thinking about this, but a lot of these influencers are not doing it all on their own. And if you want to build a big audience, you add the extra value of when it's syndicated to have analytics tracking on every link back to the main website or to the show notes or to the offer so that they actually make some sales. Now, I know a lot of folks listening to this, your head just exploded. You're like, oh my God, I just want to write copy. Please. I just want to write copy. But how much copy have you written that nobody's ever seen? How many regular and consistent assignments do you have? How many times have you written a sales letter for a client and then you got to come back and negotiate the next sales letter? See, a marketing agency is going to say, hey, look, we've got a copywriting department and they're going to do these things for you. We got a technical services department who's going to do these things and fix these problems. And we've got a promotion group that's actually going to promote what we create for you. See, that's such a better package for your client. It's the maximum amount of value. And if they're already working with you day to day, you've extended the engagement. So first off, they write the content this month. Next month, you're syndicating it. And the following month, you're promoting it and providing reports for analytics. When they have another need for copy, who do you think they're going to call? Well, it's certain that they're going to call you, because you're not only engaged with them, but you can demonstrate your value, can demonstrate their connections in the marketplace. I work for a media outlet called The Smoking Section, and I basically cleaned up their analytics. First, they wanted me to just do some webmaster stuff, but I cleaned up their analytics, advised on topics that they should be covering, gave them feedback on not keywords, but context, which artists were getting most pickup. That led to them partnering with a mobile phone company, doing promotions. I got to be on a call with Snoop Dogg. That was pretty cool. Not that he called me out individually. I'm listening to the call, and he, wished us all well. And then his publicity team came in and finished off the call. But the point I'm making here is that if you've got a publication with a little bit of traffic, if you are a thought leader, if you're doing a blog, if you're a podcaster, if you're doing any episodic content, adjusting your editorial calendar or your client's editorial calendar can create massive amounts of value, because they can create the work once and profit from it many times. Now, you as a service provider, making this nearly automated for them reduces all the stress I described. Just how you became overwhelmed hearing how editorial processes should work. Your customers are very often overwhelmed every day, and they don't get the performance that they need, and you can step in to help them. Now, I'm not saying that you do the webmaster work. I'm not saying that you do anything else other than copywriting, but I am saying that you take a leadership role into at least cost sharing the people you use for your own website. So, for example, I'm writing a promotion right now for 5 slots available, where they can get fractional costs on webmasters, video and audio editors, and copywriters. Well, it's simply 5 clients are going to pay for the full-time people when none of the original clients could keep a full-time person on staff because they don't need full-time services. Now, one of those 5 will pop out and they'll need full-timers, and you can either do a placement or you can take over the whole account or whatever you want to do. But my point being here is don't miss this opportunity to value add and solve major problems for your publishing clients, your clients doing regular periodic content. And don't miss the opportunity to value add around the copywriting itself. Because let's say you picked up a Ron Paul for a client. Ron Paul has revenue streams, including the advertisers, where there's a cost share as well as a revenue share. There's many affiliate programs being referenced out of there, but he's also got books. Well, Ron Paul is not producing his show. That's why they have another person on the show that they talk with. But ultimately, it's being filmed, it's being edited, it's being produced outside. There's somebody right now who is a junior Ron Paul. I'm not talking about his son, but a junior somewhere that is up and coming that could be your client. And see, you understand the publishing, you understand the copywriting, you understand the importance of words. Let's take it to the next level and actually facilitate reaching an audience. Now, I'm not going to get into how this gets you into audience match, and then if you want to manage the actual ad campaigns, that could be a different business. But all the same is, which of these things could you start doing for clients, and which of these things would solve problems for clients so that you're there when they need their next copywriting assignment? I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. And if you want to just write a sales letter offering this kind of service, just give it a try. Just see if it gels together. Write a sales letter for yourself and test it. I'll help you with the editorial side. If you need some ideas about the overall editorial process, you probably have your own editorial process. I have a program about collaborative editing. So there are challenges that you can help solve when you're editing with groups of people, especially if you've got legal and compliance departments involved. But ultimately, think about this. For every big name I mentioned, there are thousands of people benefiting from direct response copywriting, benefiting from the words they present or they write, and ultimately could be benefiting from you if you take a slightly different approach. If you have any questions about this program, visit www.adbriefings.co.uk. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefings Copywriting Tips, here to help you get more from the words that you write and to write words that sell. Thanks for listening.